Hola, it is me, T, aka Teopatra, and you are watching TTV. And today's reading is going to be about the theme of Venus, the sign of love, beauty, and romance, moving into the sign of Pisces, delusional, fanatical Pisces, filled with illusionary device. And so we're going to see what the themes are for you today. So we have 3 piles here. The first pile, number 7. Okay, number 7 is the first pile. Number 2, pile number 2, number 4. All right, pile number 3, number 9. You turn the 6 upside down, the 9 now. Hey yo, so go ahead and pick your piles. Like I said, pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. 1, 2, 3. 7, 4, and 9. Is that how it's supposed to be? Y'all, don't tell me I done messed up. No. We gotta start over. So I messed up. Actually, it's 794. This is supposed to be here. But we just gonna rock with it because I done recorded this intro like 3 times and I'm not doing it again. So just gonna act like none of that happened. So pile number 1, number 7. Yeah, number 7. You feel the vibes. Okay, if you're number 7, I see you. That's not right. Oh, okay. We did it wrong again. Hold on. Number 4. This is supposed to be here. You're gonna bear with me, all right? Because we're gonna get these messages. So the first pile is number 7. I said that. Second pile is number 9. Okay, so first pile here, number 7. Pile number 2, 9. Pile number 3 is 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Take a second to meditate. If 1 is 7, 7, and if 2 is 9, and if 3 is 4, what does that mean? Okay, so let's get into pile number 1. So pile number 1, your number is 7. So that is the axes on 1 and 7, which is a polar, the complete horizon, Aries and Libra. They're opposite signs. Aries rules the first house and Libra rules the 7th house. Aries has to deal with the self, and Libra has to deal with, Libra's actually ruled by the planet Venus. We're talking about Venus and Pisces. Venus, the planet of Venus, is at home, or in domicile, I believe is the word, in Libra, but it is exalted in Pisces, meaning that when it's in Pisces, she's basically in her city girl era. She is in her act up era. Like, she not just chilling, being all cutesy or whatever. She's in her healing era, like in her all about me era. So if we think about 1 and 7, it's about beautifying the self. So I feel like during Pisces season, you're going to spend a lot of time either hanging out with friends or spending a lot of time on self-care. You could be going to like your favorite stores, your favorite places, favorite restaurants, favorite anything, to do something to heal the heart chakra and to make you feel great about yourself. With there's a lot of Venus energy here in this pile. And I pulled 2 cards, which led me, the reason why I actually pulled the number 7 for pile number 1 was because I had 3 songs that I picked out already for the 3 piles. So my theme was going to be based off of those 3 piles. But then I didn't like the songs because I feel like they had a negative connotation. Because originally the reading was going to be what is going on in this connection with Venus and Pisces. But then I decided that I didn't want to really go specifically on a love route. Like depending on the pile, it could be about love, but I want to focus more on love energy, and that doesn't have to be romantic or a relationship. It could just be the relationship you have with yourself. So with Libra being in with Venus being in Pisces and this being a 1 and 7 axes, there's an emphasis on loving yourself more. So, like I said, the songs that I chose led me to make these piles. But then I was shuffling cards, and when I was shuffling my cards, I was using my Oracle deck, and I was shuffling until I pulled out cards that had women on them, and I shuffled 7 cards, and only one woman came out, and that didn't come out to the end. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not editing that out because this video is gonna be long, and if I try to cut the video, I'm not gonna have any space on my phone, so sorry. I feel like that's the energy you're in for Venus and Pisces. It's just like sorry, not sorry. You know, like you're not apologizing for things for the sake of other people. Like yes, you still have manners and you're still gonna apologize for the right reasons, but you're not out here being a yes man anymore. With the number 7 also being the 7th house of Libra, also rules justice, harmony, and balance. So I feel like you are setting the tone for where you need balance in your life. And that could be, you probably could have been spending a lot of time neglecting yourself. Like you probably fine AF. And you probably lately have not really been spending a lot of time focusing it on the exterior because you've mostly probably been healing on the interior. So the reason why I got number 7, like I said, I was shuffling these cards. And then I noticed that the cards that I was shuffling, I was like, okay, I paid attention to the number once one of them came out. So one of the first cards that came out that led me to this pile, number 7, was Osiris. Isn't he beautiful? He's number 27, Heavenly Messages, right? And when I was shuffling these cards and I wasn't getting any women pulled out from my Oracle deck, I kept shuffling, right? I told you I pulled 7 cards. 6 of those cards. Okay, so how do I explain this? So there's 6 cards remaining, right? Both of them paired up with the same exact number. What is that? What am I meaning by that? This is 27, right? Which numerology wise sums up to 9. This card came out as well, not after, but like I ended up putting it together. This is number 18, which is also 9. I done fucked up again. Oh my God. All right, so we're going to start over. Luckily, I didn't already get into that message, so I'm just going to act like that didn't happen. So I feel like that's very significant for this because you could be rearranging things like what? Now I'm confused. So did I say pile number 1 was 7? Or did I say it was 9? I feel like I have to start over. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Pile number 1. Pile number 1 was 7. I know I said that, but I don't know how I had the number 9 in my hand. But if you're still watching this message, I'm sure you'll figure that out. And you can watch all 3 messages because they have different messages coming to them. So anyway, number 7. But that's not right. Okay, so basically it was supposed to be like this. 7. Okay, we're back. So number 7, right? The first part, that actually, after I pulled out Osiris, which if okay, so because I just mixed that up, I feel like you should also listen to pile number 2, which will be 9. So you can hear why I picked up Osiris. Because when I was talking about the number 7, I was thinking about Osiris. I was like, those two don't really kind of match up. So the card that came out instead was this one. I actually wanted this card to come out because since I be on TikTok all day, I kept hearing the Nile is a river in Egypt. So number 7, pile number 7, 25, Nile River, flow of abundance. Then, like I said, you saw those two cards that came out for the second pile, number 9, which was 27 and 18. But for pile number 2, you guys were 7, and yours was 25. 2 and 5 equals 7. And then you got Tahuti. I forgot what his other name is. I'll end up probably putting it on the screen. And he was 43, which is 7, Akashic Records. So for the pile number 7, Venus and Pisces, 25 and 43, number 7. So I'm going to let you guys look at these two cards together. Flow of Abundance and Akashic Records, number 7. Right? So pile number 1, Venus and Pisces, number 1 is telling me that you guys could be Pisces or you could be Libras or you could be a mutable sign. And if that's the case, or you could also be Scorpios. But with flow of abundance and Akashic records, during Venus and Pisces, you could be exploring the depths of yourself. You could be exploring parts of yourself through looks, like in fashion, like makeup. Like, you see how I did my makeup today? I try to give myself the little inner wing to look like a little cat, go with my Egyptian theme. I didn't plan it. I was messing with my makeup, and actually, as you can see, I got my little wing going. I did my wing with liner. So you could be into makeup, doesn't have to be gender specific, but you could be into makeup. It may be you need to play with makeup more, not necessarily, more so for healing. Like beautifying yourself could help you heal in a way if you need healing, or if you have a block in your solar plexus or in your sacral chakra and you feel like you want to express yourself better. I just seen 111. Um, yeah, expressing yourself better or broadening your creativity. So I feel like you will get back into balance more by tapping into your creative side. Also, I would look at your first house and your seventh house, and I would look at where Aries is in your chart, and I would look at where Libra is in your chart, and I would also look at where Venus is in your chart, and Pisces and Mars. So for Venus, Mars, yeah, Venus and Mars. So this is a time for you to really just let go and not put so much pressure on yourself to feel like you have to have a set way of doing things each day during Venus being in Pisces, because Pisces is a mutable sign, so it's ever changing. And with flow of abundance and Akashic records, I feel like instead of you having to actively do things, which Aries is the sign of action and doing things, but I feel like in order for you to receive and to bring yourself into balance, you need to let go and allow the universe and God to work its magic on you, and to not put so much pressure on how to go about things, but just to be easy and let loose and let go. Now I'm gonna pull some cards to kind of give me the energies. Like I said, we already tapped into 7. So Tahuti in Akashic Records and Flow of Abundance is like, has to do with a lot of wisdom. So you could be receiving information. You could be receiving a lot of downloads and intuitive like messages. You could even be like you could get clarity from, like, when you go outside, you can get clarity from things that happen to you. And I see you taking notes on like things that happen to you and your synchronicities, and it helping you get answers. Like lately, the divine knew that I was trying to get answers for certain things, and instead of me trying to go out and find them, because I knew that if I spent energy trying to go and look for them, I wasn't going to find them. And then they actually came to me in a dream, and like through someone came and told me something, and I was like, And like if you see Tahuti like in this card, he's taking notes. So it's kind of like there's going to be a lot of things around you that are going to give you a lot of clarity and answers with Venus being in Pisces, specifically in relation to love and relationships. Like you're going to get answers about why certain things happen to you. And oh my God, oh my God. This went over my head. So while I'm shuffling these cards, right? This card came out and it's been sitting here while I've been talking, like for the last 2 minutes. It's number 7. I don't even want to pull anymore now. So, damn. This is the bottom of the deck, Queen of Clubs, which is fire. Even though Aries is a masculine sign, it's still in the line. So, like, this is so deep. Oh my gosh. Deep in the sense that 7 of Cups, 7, like I said, that whole theme of 7 again, relationships and balance. So, you could have a lot of suitors at this time. And for each suitor that comes to you, you can understand something different about yourself through the suitors that you attract. For example, you could have a lot of people that have been trying to court you lately, but you may not necessarily be interested in any of them. And I feel like in the past, you could have just been for it, like just been going with the flow, like, okay, I'll do it. But I believe now that you have come into wisdom to where you're like, I'm not just gonna entertain people for the sake of my own entertainment, because you know that there is an equal reaction for everything. So if you entertain someone knowing that your intention is not to really be with them and you know their intention is to be with you, I don't really see you engaging in activities like that just for the sake of your own ego. Like, I feel like you have grown, and now, in order to not receive negative karma and to hurt people, you are now receiving good karma simply for the fact that you are learning how to say no and not just doing things for the sake of just doing them. Like, there's going to be a lot of temptation during this time, but Venus and Pisces is teaching you boundaries, because Venus and Pisces wants you to receive good karma. And then you will also have the opportunity to balance out your scales, your negative karma and positive karma, or even past life karma, by healing yourself through what you choose to entertain or give your energy to. And although you could be a person who is really sensitive, like you have a lot of water in your chart and might feel bad because these people that want a chance with you, you don't want to entertain them. Like, you don't have to entertain someone just because they want your attention. Like, no, I see you being more selective with your time, not for selfish reasons, but simply because you're trying to be better. And you trying to be better, you are in an energy of receiving. Therefore, you're reaping your good karma and then leading yourself into a divine connection. Now, if you're a single person and you're not in a relationship, this healing and balancing of your scales is going to end up bringing, like, you're going to be, it's going to continue to allow you to focus on yourself so much so that you won't even be worried necessarily about finding a partner. Because I think like this pile specifically has been focusing on a lot about relationships. Like, I feel like you've been in a lot of relationships, you've been in a lot of situationships, you've had a lot of, you've dated around, you've talked to plenty of people, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know how to pick the signs, you know how to see the red flags. And you're just not the same anymore. And that's a good thing. You've healed a lot through that. And you're fighting yourself and you're fighting your temptation to not, like, you're fighting your lower desires to not just want to go on dates just because they're free, or because you just want to get out of the house, or you just want to do a photo op, or just get cute, or make it seem like you're doing X, Y, and Z. You're not doing that anymore. And because of that, you are like healing those around you by showing people to love themselves more, instead of just dating just for the gram, or for the sake of it's getting close to Valentine's Day and you just want to feel good about yourself. No, you are feeling whole simply by being in this energy. And it can cause you to be a little, lonely at times, because you see other people in their relationships and you're like, well, I want that too. But the thing is, I feel like you have grown a lot and you have become very, very strong in what you stand on. And that's good, because we need more people like that in the world. There's too many people who get into relationships for the wrong reasons and then end up having children, knowing that there's those children were not created out of the act of love, but out of lust. And you being in this energy, you will attract people who want to be in that energy as well, not necessarily on a romantic level. But if you are someone who, like, you don't even have to be in a position of power. You could just be like, for example, 7 has to deal with group dynamics but also open enemies. Like, the sign of Aquarius also deals with group dynamics but on a broader scale. um just like Gemini on a smaller scale has to deal with like small groups, but like 7 is like the in between small groups and the collective. So it could be your work relationships, the relationships that you have within your neighborhood, which that's more Gemini. But flow of abundance and Akashic records, you could be nearing the time of meeting a soulmate if you're single. And if you're already in a relationship, then this person could be your soulmate. But I'm seeing that maybe you guys are focusing more, like, you guys are healing your, not if okay, your relationship may not need healing, but you are healing the relationship and ascending it on a higher level by simply healing yourself, whatever that means to you. Like, you could be releasing past trauma that doesn't have anything to do with your partner, but simply you yourself. Like, you could probably see the things that you do. Like, I just keep noticing how I keep saying you could probably, and there's small things that you're fine tuning about yourself to be better. So this pile is very highly attuned with the self and their surroundings. This is a very wise pile, a very knowledgeable pile. And with that, even you being in a connection, because you can still, like, you can be a divine counterpart and have not met your person yet, but because you know what you want and you know your worth, you're not just dating anybody. You are making sure that this person is a direct reflection of you in every positive way. And in order for someone to be a direct reflection of you in every positive way, you have to have healed and ascended and gained a certain level of knowledge within yourself to say, this is what I'm here on this planet to do. And if and when I have my partner, this is what we're here to do together. Now, you guys could be into two completely different things, but for the most part, whenever you guys are in a divine connection, you are into the same things anyway. But you may just, like, you could still have different career professions, but you have the same interests. You might go about them differently. Like, for example, with the Aries and a Libra. Aries is cardinal fire and Libra is cardinal air. So you have an air sign who is more logical, who's more strategic, is masculine. Aries is also masculine, but Aries is more impulsive and action oriented. But the two balance each other out because where one is the thinker and one is the doer, it's like you have a match made in heaven because you are now learning the role that you play in dynamics, whether they're partnerships or they're group dynamics. So there's not a lot of ego in this pile, and that's a good thing. I like to know that the people that are watching me are in divine energy. That's how I know that God is working directly with you. And also, I feel like you have, like, your ancestors reaped good karma for you to have this type of level, like this level of wisdom and protection also, because you, like, life could be kind of mundane right now for you, which is why you probably don't feel the need to get dressed up and do your makeup, or even if you do just go to work outside, you don't work from home, you could not feel like you could probably just not be focused on the exterior. You could be focused on just getting things done. But I feel like you're bringing balance and harmony into your life with Venus and Pisces, because Venus and Pisces is like, it gives Alice in Wonderland vibes. And it's very fantasy like you're bringing more life and love into your situations. And the song that I channeled is Just Fine by Chris Brown. Let me pull up the lyrics. So he says, we did everything we could do to try and make it work. Baby, you look so confused because it feels like there's no way we could lose. Baby, I just know, I just don't know why I can't find the things you need in me. Baby, they just know what to say. They trying to break us away from one another. But maybe they're right for a change. I think God will give you someone much better than me. Trust me. Your eyes will be okay. It'll be all right. You'll be just fine. We would disagree constantly on the basic things. You thought that there was someone else all along. Baby, I want to decide to stay right by your side. So it's like, with this flow of abundance, you have what most people in this world don't have when it comes to relationships, and that's your ability to not only stand alone, but to love yourself and to know your worth. Whereas other people, they get suitors and then their ego becomes inflamed and they just want to be with people just for the sake of it. But in order to be in a divine connection, divine people know that there are ups and downs, but to be a child of God and to be a conduit and a receptor to receive all of this divine energy is to know that you're going to be challenged. And especially when you're in a divine partnership, yes, you're going to attract lower level entities that are going to try to break you up. You're going to attract vampiric energies that want to see you in a low vibration simply because you're vibing high. And they see something in you that they don't have in themselves, that they want to take away from you. Not that they want to take away from you to have for themselves, because they're not even in the energy to be able to be where you are, because they still need healing. They look at you like you shouldn't be like that. And it's not even that you shouldn't be like that. It's just that they don't want you to be that way because they're not like that. So sometimes you are in a relationship that is perfect and is meant to be. But if both parties are not healed, and if both parties do not really understand their purpose and their self, then yes, the connection will break. And there could be a potential loss of a divine connection. Now, this connection could come back or it can never come back. But there's a lesson in it all, and the scales will be balanced in some way. And just because if a connection is truly divine, nothing can break it apart. Like he said in the song, like, I want to stay right here by your side. And this is a message for those people who are wondering if this is meant to be. And if you're questioning it, then you already have your answer, babes. And sometimes we can want people to be something that they're not. We can be in an energy where it sometimes is hard to find love because you just are vibrating high. And it's not ego to say that. Like you have, in order to be completely in the energy, in a God energy, you have to be able to accept the fact that yes, most of the time you are vibing a lot higher than other people. And even though you might want to bring people along with you, they're sometimes not ready. And most of the time they will never be ready. But all you can do is be a clean glass next to the dirty glass and show people what God energy looks like in human form. So let's shuffle. Let me see. Hold on. So before I shuffle some tarot cards, the theme, the Queen of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. It's a lot of fire. It's a lot of fire and water here with the energy of 7. It's giving me fire and desire energy. Like you have been waiting so long to be your best self, even if you are already feeling like that. But even when you are your best self, you're still faced with challenges every day, and you still have to continue to heal and grow in a world where there's so many people who are unhealed and not looking to grow. But I see you learning more about yourself through other people, like by watching other people. And you might notice a lot of breakups going on around you. And you might notice a lot of marriages happening. And all of that is going to be messages for you to then take with you if you're single into your next relationship. And I feel like it might take a little while for you to find the next person. I'm not going to lie. I don't believe that your focus right now should be on finding a person, but more so about how to be the best partner. And if you feel like you're already that, then it will come in, and it might not be a long time. Um, and you don't necessarily have to wait forever to try to find your person. You can still date, but you need to be able to pick out, because I feel like for those of you who are going to be dating, you're going to notice red flags and you have to be able to stand on them. Because I think in the past that you may have tried to brush the red flags aside, and that kind of like delayed whatever healing and journey that you needed to go through, which is, I mean, it happens, but you have to take accountability for self. um Tarot, let's do some tarot. Venus and Pisces for call number 1, number 7, theme 7. Theme 7. Like everything's going to be fine if you are feeling in some type of weird energy. Princesses, clarify the Princess of Swords in reverse. Now also the number 7, Libra, is an air sign. Like I said, cardinal air. So with Venus being in Pisces, it's not going to benefit you to try to go out and seek information, because information is not what you need right now. What you need is to learn how to go with the flow. And also, you need to learn how to not be so impulsive just for the sake of doing things. Like while Venus is in Pisces, a lot of people are going to be tempted because Pisces is a tempting sign. Like it has to do with illusion. So it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland whenever she saw the little, door or whatever, and then she went in. So it's like you're gonna go down this rabbit hole if you are overcome by temptation. So the cards I pulled, Princess of Wands in reverse, Princess of Swords in reverse, clarified by the Ten of Wands. And the bottom of the deck is the Fool in reverse. So 10 and 0. So if people are people are really going to be attracted to you during this time. But the temptation is going to be for you to really focus on yourself until Venus transits out of Pisces and into Aries. So while Venus is in Pisces, you need to tap into that whimsical nature, very lighthearted, flowing energy, and do what you got to do to not get into mental blockages where you're questioning things. Like your mind will burden you if you are surrounded by the wrong people at this time. And if you are overcome by temptation, your mind will burden you and you won't make any progress, I believe. The only way you will make progress right now is to try to think back on past situationships and relationships, friendships, whatever ships you've been in, and think about all the signs, all the red flags. Take this time to do that because you have some healing to do in regards to your thought process. Let's see. The Fool in reverse. Yeah. So 7 also has to deal with the sign of open enemies. So these are the cards that I pulled. Do more things that make you forget to check your phone. Okay. And then, if you wonder if I hate you, it says I hate you, but then it says, did you mean I think I'm falling in love with you and it scares the shit out of me? You don't need that energy around you. You need people around you who are sure of themselves. And then I pull Leo in reverse, which Leo is the sign of the ego. But in reverse, it's like when Leo's in a healed energy in the ego, like they know themselves, they know what they're not going for. But in an unhealed energy, it's just like you're down for anything, and you're around people who are in a shadowy energy, who are more so in their ego, like who just want to be around for a look, who want to leech off of your energy. And this no thank you card was in reverse. So it's like you're gonna have to tell people no during this time, because I really see a lot of people trying to get into your energy. And then this card also came out. So you are gonna, like I said, you're gonna have to stop checking your phone as much, gonna have to stay off of social media during Venus and Pisces, because with this elusive energy, it can cause people to feel like it can cause you, which is why probably the Page of Swords and Ten of Wands came up, because it can cause you to go back on the progress that you have made when you see other people. Because I mean, at the end of the day, social media is an illusion. But during this time of Venus and Pisces, I feel like people are going to be really trying to hop on the illusion train. You might start seeing a lot of people delete their pictures, something on very superficial level, like delete their pictures or whatever. Excuse me, so sorry. And like that is just going to cause you to go back in your healing energy. So let's pull a few more oracle cards and then we're going to go on to the next pile. Pile 7. Pile number 1, theme number 7. Let me shuffle these. You wonder if I hate you. Oh yeah, back to open enemy things too. Like I say, you gotta be careful who you be around, because sometimes people be having hidden agendas. And I hate to say this because I really want these messages to be positive, But at the same time, we're not going to skip out on the realness. Like, you could be in a very positive energy, but that don't mean that the people that want to be around you are in a positive energy. These people could be attracted to you because they need healing. Have faith, please. This is literally the divine telling you to trust the messages that are coming to you right now. And when you get a sign, take it. Don't just be doing things just for the sake of it, because life is so precious. Your energy is so precious. And if you really love yourself, then you wouldn't just be in anywhere, you know? And with the Fool in reverse, I see that you're not going to be just open to any opportunities. Like, you will block your opportunities by what you decide to be in if they're not aligned with you. No. Body, this keep, oh, I say baby. Let me see. Get some more messages. I just feel like you're loving on yourself more. And like, I kind of feel like you're dating yourself, or you need to. This is a warning. So there's someone around you. They don't have to be close to you or be a friend, but there is someone around you that you probably will learn a message from based on their like. There's probably someone who always comes to you about their relationship problems, or like you see people on your social media complaining about like their relationships or what they want or blah blah blah, or complaining about the opposite gender. You're probably just thinking like, why is this what people are so focused on all the time? You probably not even like worried. Like, you could probably be the type of person where your best girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, like, the people sometimes it's just like, I feel like people get threatened by that. Even when, yes, people who you even are dating could be threatened and intimidated by you to the point where they sabotage the relationship because they're unhealed. They don't have nothing to do with you. That's just a part of your karma. Like, that's just a lesson that you have to learn through them and they have to learn. So don't lose faith just because the person that you liked or was talking to you starts ghosting you or starts acting weird. Getting your own energy, that is just a test and a challenge. Like, you have to get back into your own energy when Venus is in Pisces, because people's minds like could be wandering anywhere, thinking anything. Like, whole time you thinking something because the person acting weird, and whole time they thinking something about you, and ain't even nothing going on, but y'all could be mirroring each other with the 1 and the 7, not realizing it. So also, let me go back to these numbers. So you got 25, that's 2 and 5. So someone could be burdened by financial matters and they're not expressing it, and that could be the reason why they're drawn back during this time. And then you got 4 and 3. So somebody could be having family issues, like their family could be stressing them out, or they could be healing wounds from they could be healing ancestral trauma or family wounds, mother wounds specifically, or like if they have a sibling, or if this person is a twin or a Gemini, they could be, or if they have younger siblings, like, or if you have younger siblings, you could be paying attention to their relationships. I just feel like it's just not an emphasis for relationships for you at this time. Like, it's not to say that you're not ready, but it's other people. That's why I say have faith, please, and take this as a warning, because you don't want to just be like everybody else, just going and celebrating Valentine's Day just for the sake of it. Now, if you're in a relationship, that's good. Like, you already know this don't apply to you. And if you don't resonate with this message, pick another pile. But you are here for a reason. So it may not be you, but it could be someone around you, or it could be your partner. And if you are in a divine partnership, then just talk to your partner, because they could be dealing with something that don't even have nothing to do with you, and it is very vain to think that just because they are switching up, it has something to do with you. Especially if you trust your partner and you know that they love you. Like, with Venus being the sign of love, you have to be able to not just want to receive love all the time, but you have to be an energy of love to be able to give it to other people too when they know that they need it. Because you are love. Like, you specifically could be in such a loving and abundant energy, which is why when things happen with other people around you, it doesn't affect you, but those people need that energy from you too. So when there are people who want to be around you, kind of test and feel the energy that they're in, and when you feel comfortable, then you can be around them. Now, if you go and be around this person and then you don't like the vibes, and that's a sign to you that you don't need to be around that person. But don't shut everyone out, because there are people that will need a loving and healing word. But at the same time, you have to know when to cut it off, and know if the energy is not being reciprocated, that then it's time for you to stop doing that. So, okay, number one, that was very interesting. A very interesting message. I liked it though. So that was number 7. And I'm gonna put these cards back. So going on to pile 2. Pile 2 is number 9. Make sure I do this right this time. Hey, pile 2, if you were pile 2, if you came from pile number 1, then you know why I'm saying that. And if you feel like you were drawn to pile number 1, then definitely check it out, because that was an interesting message. A very heavy message, but so pile 2. Okay, pile 2. So whenever I was shuffling my cards, I wanted to specifically draw out a card that had a female on it. And I pulled 7 cards and only one female came out, and it was at the end. So out of this, aside from the female, out of the 7 cards that I pulled, there were 3 pairs of cards that had the same number. That's why I pulled those numbers, 7, 9, and 4, because 2 cards, when I added them up, they equaled 7. 2 cards, when I added them up, they equal 9, and the other cards, the last 2 cards, equal 4. So I was like, bro, are you serious? Like, this is the energy for Venus and Pisces. So I'm most likely gonna make another reading about the Venus and Pisces with these numbers. So for pile 2, your energy is number 9. Now, the number 9 is mutable fire, and Venus is the planet of love, romance, beauty, love languages, all of that jazz, fashion. And Pisces is mutable water. So with 9 being mutable fire, both immutable energies, mutable being ever changing. The energies that we got were first 27, which is Osiris, heavenly messages, 27. And then you got Mset, which is air spirit, number 18. So for number 9, you got 18, you got 27. So Venus and Pisces, I feel like this pile is really doing a lot of daydreaming. You guys can be really like into fantasy, or you can like cosplay makeup, or you can like anime, cartoons. You most likely could be an air sign or a Sagittarius. If you're not, then it's okay. It doesn't have to be. But you could have a heavy influence on air in Sagittarius, or you could have Sagittarius in an air house, or you can have an air sign in your 9th house, which would make you either a Gemini rising, a Libra, or a Aquarius rising. Most likely you could be Aquarius rising. So while Venus is in Pisces, the song, let me just go by the song first. So the song that I got was Just Friends by Nick Jonas. Our Jonas Brothers, one of my favorite songs. There she goes again, the girl I'm in love with, but it's cool, we're just friends. We walk the halls at school, we know it's casual, it's cool, we're just, I don't wanna lead you on, no, but the truth is I've grown fond. Everyone knows it's meant to be. Falling in love, just you and me till the end of time. Till I'm on her mind, it'll happen. I've been making lots of plans, like a picket fence and a rose garden. I just keep on dreaming. But it's cool, 'cause we're just friends. Okay, then small talk on I am. Just one word sentences. So this pile who you, I feel like, okay, whoever you're dealing with is going through an awakening, and you could have inspired this person. I feel like you inspire a lot of the people, like a lot of your love interests, which could cause them to like retreat and withdraw because they see something good in you and it makes them want to be better. Now, a lot of times I know like divine beings get tired of being the only divine person in the room, but you're not. It's just that everybody's at their different timelines of healing. And so during this time, whenever Venus is in Pisces, you and this person probably won't be spending too much time being all lovey-dovey, but more so fantasizing the idea of what you want in your love life or from the other person. I feel like it's like you guys are kind of like more so in the astral realm. Like you could be having dreams about this person, or this person could be having dreams about you, or you could be having a lot of dreams just in general, which is giving you like messages. You could be getting messages from your dreams. So if you're dreaming a lot during this time, which most likely I know that you are, like my dreams have been super lucid, and pay attention to the people that you see in your dreams. And when you see these particular people in your dreams, try to remember the conversations that you have with them. And if you can't remember the conversations with them, most likely you will be able to remember the conversation, because I'm getting that they're going to be very short. Damn. Damn. Okay. Y'all want to see what I got? This fell on the ground. 3 of clubs. So this has to deal with like a vision, some type of idea on horizon. So if you're single and you're dealing with someone, or even like you don't have to be dealing with someone, but there could be somebody or something approaching you soon that you probably didn't expect, but you kind of had the idea of it, but based on how these things have been playing out right now, it's not coming, like it doesn't give that. The next card that came out was six, and then six of swords, and then the other card was the 3 of swords. Goddamn. And then we got the 3 of, okay, which makes sense because like your overarching energy is 9. So because there's so many energies of 3, that I'm getting that you are in some type of dynamic, but you're going to be learning lessons through this dynamic and the time that you're spending away from this person. The overall theme was the King of Wands. And the last reading, it was the Queen of Wands. And this one is the King. So I feel like you are taking, you are making an executive decision for you and the people around you to be like, this is not a time to necessarily be romantic, but this is a time for love healing. Whereas most people, like I say, they just, like I said in the last reading, like most people are just in relationships for the sake of being in a relationship, where you and the people around you, it may not be playing out the way you want it to because of divine timing. Like, because you could be in an energy where you're healed, but the other people, the other parties have to get on that playing field too, you know? So you could be thinking that it's something wrong with you, like, which is why you could be having a lot of dreams about these people, because maybe you're not necessarily speaking to them, or maybe you're not getting communication from them as much as you were before. But with Venus being in Pisces, a lot of people are going to be retreating and going to be in their own world, like daydreaming and thinking about things until Venus moves in Aries. Also, because the sun is in Aquarius, which is a logical sign, but the sun does not like to be in Aquarius because the sun is ruled by Leo, and Leo's opposite sign is Aquarius. So we got the sun in fixed air, and then we got Venus in um, mutable water, and then also Mars in mutable air. So it's a lot of like willy-nilly energy going around. It's not really defined. So that's giving me the feeling that it's going to be more happening in the astral realm, or in, not necessarily in the physical. But what that means is that instead of being in your ego and just wanting to jump down someone's throat, yes, you should have your boundaries and things that you're okay with, but when you're not okay with, but as a divine person, you're able to use your intuition and discern when people are genuinely going through things and it has nothing to do with you. Just because somebody's not talking to you doesn't mean that it has something to like. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You should know that God always has your back, and that whenever things are not in your favor, that they're not aligned with you in that moment, and that's why they're not happening. But when you're in your shadow energy and you don't care, then you just allow anything, which is why you'll just get a partner that you'll continue to be in situationships with, and you don't want that. And if you don't, if you no one wants that. People could be in their ego. Like, it reminds me of like Krishan and Blueface. Like, of course, Krishan, it's like she might necessarily not want to be like that, but at the same time, she's like that. So therefore, she does want to be like that. But there's a time and place for everything. Like, until she can be in the energy where she's going to be healed, then she's going to keep being perceived in this way where it's like people are looking at her like she's crazy in love, which most of us are. But I feel like with Krishan, at least she can openly stand on how she feels without care of judgment. Now, it might look crazy to us, but at the same time, she still got her man. When most people don't even got their man. And whether he's doing X, Y, and Z, it don't matter, because what has been perceived in the media, like, yes, they be having their fights. But the last interview I seen, and this is all about Pisces, because Krishan is a Pisces, but Pisces is about illusions. So what I got from it made it look like Blueface was growing and maturing to where he didn't react anymore in the way that he used to react to Krishan. And Krishan, in response to him not reacting to her the way he usually responds, was able to calm down. Now, sometimes I be thinking that it's all a publicity stunt and they're celebrities. It could be, it could not be. I don't know. I would have to think a little bit more, a little deeper into it. But I was looking at it like from the idea of it's a publicity stunt. Now, whether it's a publicity stunt or not, it doesn't matter, because there's still a lesson that you can draw from that. And I see pile number 2, number 9, you guys being able to speak on things that can help other people in their relationships and in their healing process. Like, you may be able to speak on the type of relationships and situationships and dates and dating lives that you've been in before, where you could have had the opportunity to experience many types of people, and you, even though your relationships may have ended, most of them probably didn't end in a negative note. But I see that there's probably always somebody around, which was the reason. Like, I feel like you've had a lot of soulmates, but what you had to learn through all of this was that people do play a big part in your relationships. And if you and this person are not on the same page on knowing how to block out outside energies and not allow other people to influence you, it's okay to get advice from people. But if you don't know how to make your own decisions, and you're steadily having like swayed by the opinions of other people, then you will never be in a successful relationship, because you're just in it for your own ego. Like, you're just in it for your shadow purposes, like for your own personal gain, just because you don't want to be alone. And I don't see you necessarily doing that. I see you getting a lot of clarity um from situations that you've been in the past, and you're just being like, wow, so that was what happened. Also, I feel like you could have had an idea about someone that you're dealing with, and then it could have been revealed to you while you were too busy trying to be in your feelings and be butthurt about the situation. One whole time you got your answer, and you're just like, wow, I knew that anyway. So it's like, oops, sorry that I just messed up the. You could be like, why was I even mad about that? So it's just like you putting yourself in situations that you didn't even need to be in, simply because you made up something in your mind, which is Pisces, because is very delusional. Can we clarify these 3s and these 6s? So this is number 9. So the number, like, okay, so when we think about 3, 6, 9 energy, that's working on yourself. I knew this was gonna come out. Mars. Like, you could be noticing, you just like, I don't want to adventure journey. Yeah, so the 9th house, Sagittarius mutable fire, has to deal with journeys, long journeys, Mars, journeying through Mars. So you could be having some type of healing intimate moment with someone, whether that be doing the do, be open to all possibilities, to tell. And I feel like the more understanding you are, um, the more people will start opening up to you. Because I feel like this pile has done a lot of healing, but the problem is that you've been overthinking, and your mind is wandering to places, good places, like as far as your astral travel, like you seeing people. Like this pile is very intuitive. You guys probably have like get messages and see people in the astral realm, like when you sleep, and then you wake up and then you see something and you're just like, okay, but you have to be able to discern from the astral and reality, because a lot of times you're not going to get a lot of answers in the reality, especially this pile. Like if you're an intuitive, you're going to get more answers and clarity and healing in the sleep state, and like when you're lucid dreaming. And like time moves a lot slower in the 3D realm, and that's why it's important to not seek out answers but to allow them to come to you. And the more you're able to relax with Venus and Pisces, you are gonna have healing energy come to you. And secrets to tell is in reverse. So somebody is holding on to something and they don't feel like they can tell you, maybe because they feel like it might start an argument. And someone doesn't want to argue with you and you don't want to argue with someone. So maybe you're holding back. And instead of this dealing with this person on the everyday, you were just dreaming about them or had daydreaming about them. And I feel like before you were daydreaming about this person and then you would get a message from them, but now it's not necessarily working. I'm trying to see three. Let me pull some tarot cards because this 369 energy is really interesting. It's like Osiris heavenly messages. I feel like God is trying to tell you something. And it could be like, as you are ascending, you like, you not, is like you are in a whole different phase of your life with Venus and Pisces. Okay. 3 of Wands in reverse. 3 of Wands in reverse. We already got that. 3 of Wands in reverse. Okay. First card. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. 6 of Swords in reverse. Got that here. Golly. Whoa. This is crazy. Bottom of that, King of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse though. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so somebody is holding you, or somebody is holding back about something. And they really want to talk to you and tell you something. And this, for whoever picked this pile, you will know what that is. And you probably already, you probably already felt like that. Because it's not presenting itself in the 3D, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's not. Like basically Venus and Pisces is teaching you how to discern the intuitive messages that you get and how to read body language and get better with your clairsentience, with your all knowing, your ever knowing. Because if we believe that God is all possibilities and all things, then you have to understand that sometimes things will not necessarily show up in the physical, tangible. That's why the Knight of Pentacles is in reverse, because the message is not going to be a physical message. It's not going to be a text or a DM. It's going to be, you're going to get astral messages. And if you know, you know, for this pile, because you guys are very wise and intuitive. You're wise beyond your years. You've probably been here 1,000 times, and you're probably much wiser than you allow yourself to believe, simply because of how things play out in the physical. But you have to be mutable like water and air, and just be able to transform the ideas that you have and not be so stuck in your egoic mind. Instead, be able to read between the lines. That's what's going to help you. Now I'm going to pull out a main message to clarify this tarot. This is just trippy. 369 energy. So I would work on the 369 method. Something is also telling me to work, like telling you to work with water. Maybe you need to like scry, like get a black bowl, fill it with water, and stare into it. Also, like do some light therapy, like actual light. Like I have a green light that I put on like every, like probably once a week, at least once a week while I'm sleeping and before I go to bed. It's like it's for outside. It's like a Christmas light, but it's only green, and it's like it looks like constellations, like stars. And I do that because um I'm a Leo, so Leo's ruled by the heart chakra, which is green, and it's actually a lot of green here too. This is the first time I pulled this. The end. Libra. Okay, I don't like this one. I'm not gonna. Okay, so this is the first card that came out with the mutable energy. So someone or you, but mainly someone else that you know, which is why, like you're, or it doesn't even have to be somebody that you know. You just see this energy playing out with Venus and Pisces. People either having mood swings or not necessarily, what they're doing is not how they feel, and how they feel is not what they're saying and telling you. That's why I said like Pisces is very like a tricky energy because it's not what it seems. um what this what Whatever is happening is not the true emotion. Like I just see a bunch of people just like at a party, blah 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 blah. The whole time, like you could be, if say it's a homecoming or a dance or whatever, and everybody's paired up, but everybody's dancing and somebody's looking at the person over there, and the person you're dancing with is looking at the person back there, and everybody just like you're here, but you're not here. And then on the bottom it says, "Read this slowly. The universe responds to your frequency. It doesn't recognize your personal desires, wants, or needs. It only understands the frequency in which you're vibrating at. For example, if you're vibrating in the frequency of fear, guilt, or shame, you're going to attract the things of a similar vibration to support that frequency. If you are vibrating in a frequency of love, joy, and abundance, you're going to attract those things to support that frequency. It's like tuning into a radio station. You have to be tuned into the radio station you want to listen to, just like you have to be tuned into the energy you want to manifest in your life. So, as a divine being, if you're dealing with people who are simply not saying how they're acting, then those are people that you don't need around you. You need people who are going to be true to self, like you. And this is the time to just start to, it's not like, oh, we're cutting off people, cut off season. It's not always about that. It's just to be able to discern. Because maybe you are attracting someone like that because you're not being true to yourself. Because if, in order to attract the people who are truly meant for you, then you will already be in that energy. You don't have to worry about if you can trust these people or if they're doing X, Y, and Z. You won't have to worry about that. And it says, me jealous, ha 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 ha, the end. So clearly, these people are in their shadow energy and they're having some work to deal with. But I feel like you as a person could have triggered this person or these people into healing, whether that be good or bad. Meaning, it could be like these people could be just ascending, going into awakening, or literally dealing with shadow work. And while someone is dealing with shadow work, you are not a personal consultant. God is a personal consultant, and you can assist. You can advise this person to consult with God, because what's happening is there's too many people in like unsure about what it is that they want, but you know what you want, and don't allow someone to make you feel like you may want this thing because of how they're treating you. Like, you have to stand firm on what it is you believe. And the ninth house, mutable fire, is all about belief systems and what it is you believe in politics of that. And you might just be the outlier just simply because you're not down for anything, and you're just not like allowing okie doke. Like, you're not just gonna allow people to BS you, especially if this person it's supposed to be somebody that's in your circle and they can't be honest with you, like you don't need that energy around you. Like Venus and Pisces, like I said, is gonna bring a lot of like delusional, not just illusions, but delusional. Like people are very much going to be delusional, and you have to stay in your right mind. But delusional being in the sense that it's like, okay, you having this secret relationship in your dreams, but it's not giving that in the real life. Let it go. Because you got all the answers you need already. That's why I said they're not going to necessarily show in the physical, but if, like, even if that means that this person is just not necessarily talking to you because they could be dealing with something, cool. You don't need to be focusing on that person. You probably should be focusing on yourself anyway. And most of you could be like, maybe you're in school right now, or there's some type of test that you're supposed to be studying for, or there's some type of work and information that you're supposed to be sharing, which means that while Venus is in Pisces and everybody is in the energy of like trying to be in relationships because Valentine's Day, whatever, which is like, why are you even celebrating Valentine's Day if you're really in the energy of love every day? It's Valentine's Day, but we don't acknowledge those pagan holidays anyway. So you know how to pick your choose your battles wisely. Um, let's go back to 369, Six of Swords. I want to read that. Let's read it. Six of Swords says transition, migration, letting go. Times change with the rise of the tide, and right now you are doing your best to stay afloat. Change is not always easy, but this is a necessary transition in your life. You are braving through troubled waters to catch bigger fish in the sea. New and strange environments may leave you feeling adrift, especially with your core humans in the comfort of your home. Just know that you can always come home to yourself when you start to feel overwhelmed. Leaving home base allows you to grow and expand in unexpected ways. Opportunities were limited in the past, and you ventured off into a new territory for better future. New lands means a new perspective. As environments change and shift us who we are, ride the wave. It's easier to go with the flow than to resist the pull. So since nine also has to do with traveling, like I see you basically going to new heights, and that is going to require you sometimes to have to realize that everybody can't go along for the ride with you. Like this journey is for you, but as this journey is for you, there are going to be people that you attract that are going to um that are going to be in and out, hot and cold, but you have to be the type of person that stands on, this is not the type of energy I want. And if you don't, and if you can continue to stand on that and not just look at people for the superficial or egoic reasons, then the divine will answer you and will shut those people out of your life. Now, it might hurt because you could feel like, well, I want people around me, but you don't want people around you that are an unhealed energy that are going to cause you to go back on your healing. And with the Three of Swords, I could feel like this, like the way people are treating you can be causing you to feel hurt or betrayed. But at the same time, you got to realize that hurt people. And the reason why these people are doing these things is because they are in the energy of needing to heal. But at the same time, you have to be like, you have to stand firm on what it is that you want to attract into your life. So going back to heavenly messages and air spirits, while the sun is in Aquarius and while Venus is in Pisces, I see you having a lot of new ideas, and this is a time for you to really go all in. Like, make your dreams come true, make your dreams a reality, bring those ideas and into the messages that you have from the divine down into the tangible, so that way you can share them, because you are someone who is supposed to share information and wisdom. You're a very wise spirit. And for all of those who are needing healing, maybe you're supposed to teach people how to heal. Um, and that's what I'm getting from that pretty much, is that you have to teach people how to deal with you. Also, you need to teach people how to set up boundaries. You need to teach people how to, like, it's not your duty to do this. Like I said, you can advise people to go consult with the divine, but people are going to want to know how you got to a place of being in a loving, joyous, divine energy. And by continuing to be that type of person, people will respect you for that. And if people are really divine, the God's children, then they will heal themselves and then come back to you at a later date. If not, then they weren't meant to be. But also, it's not for you to really focus on when those people are supposed to come back, because whoever is for you is for you, and you will know. And there can even be people around you in your circle who are not for you, and you have to learn that lesson as well and be able to discern the difference. Just like whenever you're getting messages in the astral and then you feel like nothing is happening in the physical, well, you have to make those things that are happening in the astral, bring them down into the physical and make that journey between, the higher dimensions and the physical realm, if that makes sense. So thank you, pile two, number 9. Turn a 6 upside down is a 9 now. Okay, so if you're friends, like I said before, the song was just friends. So most likely you really inspire your friends and people around you. Um, but you have to let people. You can't save everybody, and that is a lesson that you're gonna have to learn in this lifetime. Is that you cannot save everyone, and it's not your job to. And that even your friends at times can hurt you, and that sucks. But only you know how to take that. Okay, now move on to the next pile. Pile trois. Pile trois. Okay. All right. Pile 4. Hi, pile 4. So you picked number 4. The reason why I picked number 4 was because when I was shuffling my deck, I wanted to pull out cards that had depicted feminine energies on them. And I pulled out 7 cards, and only one of the cards had a feminine energy, and that's actually in your pile, and I'll get to that. But the reason why I ended up coming up with the numbers that I did was because out of all the 7 piles, there were 3 pairs. 3 pairs, meaning that, like, for example, your pile is number 4. So I got Osset, Alchemy and Healing, number 4. Isn't she pretty? Number 4. And then I got Sobek. He was the first card to come out, which is 40, Rest and Endings. So the other 2 piles that I got, they ended up summing up to 9 and to 7, which I was like, oh my God. The fact that like these cards are all coming up to the same numbers is crazy. So that's number 3. With this pile, this is my divine counterpart pile. Whether you're in a relationship or not, let me tell you what your channel song was. So your channel song is 4-Page Letter by Leah with the energy of 4. So while I pull up the lyrics, let me just explain that Venus is the planet of beauty, love, and romance and love languages. And Pisces is the sign of mutable water, which is illusions, delusions, fantasy, the unseen, all of that type of thing. So you know what that means? That can cause people to have rose-colored glasses in relationships and be into some stuff that's not necessarily good for them. So in order to better channel during this time, instead of getting all lost in the clouds and in a lusting energy, I wanted to give advice or messages for my 3 piles that I pulled. And so for your pile, it said, which is funny because, okay, number 4 deals with the 4th house. And the 4th house, the sign of the 4th house is Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. So the number 4 is very maternal energy, which is why we have Aset here, because she's like the divine mother. Osiris's wife, she actually, when her husband died, she went around the world and put all his body pieces back together. What's her other name? Aset. What's her other name? I'm gonna put it on the screen. But in 4-Page Letter, it says mama. Interesting, because 4th house is the mother. Mama always told me to be careful who I love, and daddy always taught me to make sure he's right. I always had my eyes on this one particular guy. I was too shy, so I decided to write. I'm sending him a 4-page letter, and I enclosed it with a kiss. And when I write him, he better get it on time. People always say that I play myself for you. They say that you don't even notice me. Baby, when I get the nerve to come to you, promise that you won't diss me. Rest. So, Offset, Alchemy and Healing, number 4. And then 4D, Rest and Healing. So, with the 4th pile, I get that you guys during this time are going to be really spending a lot of time alone. You could be spending time writing or making music, listening to music, and healing through music. This is a very regenerative time for you during while Venus is in Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces. So Venus is at home in Libra, but it's exalted in Pisces, meaning that like she is here doing the most. And so that's why this is not a necessarily favorable time for the focus on love, but more so on bringing love into the self and balancing healing and love and energy within the self. So I'm getting like, who are you in this timeline right now? And if you don't know who the answer to that, then this is the time for you to focus on that by not trying to overdo it. Like, I feel like you need to take it easy. Like, this pile, yeah. So the first card I got is the Ace of Spades. So, and the Eight of Swords. So you and the Five of Pentacles, you are in some like self-inflicted mind battle because you are coming up with all these illusions and delusions of what could be, what should be, what is and what isn't. And in order to heal that, you have to balance out your feminine energy and your masculine energy, because I'm sensing that there's an imbalance, but especially there's an emphasis on the feminine energy where you are not like you're chasing too much and you're not attracting. So you have to learn how during this time how to attract what it is that you want instead of going out and trying to get answers necessarily, because since Pisces is mutable and ever changing, the answer is not going to show up in the way that you might see it in the 3D realm. It's probably show up in like synchronicities, like through numbers or dreams, and it may not make sense to you if you don't know how to interpret them. So I feel like if you're getting a lot of dreams at this time, you need to write down your dreams and focus on interpreting them every single day. I would advise you to write down your feelings, write down your emotions, write down the things that you say. Like, for example, the other day when I was on TikTok, some random person came in my comments and was like, if you are seeing this message, it's because I found your video from the color green. Now, that is subjective. It's like, what does that mean? But for me, it meant something because last summer, and here goes green marker. Last summer, I was channeling the energy of green um for whatever reason. Like last year I spent a lot of time channeling like colors that like coincided with each chakra. So first it was something told me to incorporate the color green more because I didn't really wear a lot of green, but because I'm a Leo and green rules the heart chakra, I wanted to do a lot of heart chakra work. And so I wore a lot of green. I bought a lot of green clothes. I kept going to the nail salon and getting my toes painted green. And then I noticed that like girls that I know around me started getting like people I was friends with, I started noticing them get their nails green, and then they would ask each other like, "Should I get this green?" Like it was just so interesting. So you might notice something like that with people around you, and instead of focusing pile three on what isn't, focus on the messages that are literally presented to you in front of your face. Because I feel like a lot of times there are answers right in front of your face, and you just don't pay attention to them. Like you omit them or you don't take them for what they are for whatever reason due to your own insecurities or egos. So you need to work on healing your insecurities because they're not real. They're just a fragment of your imagination. Um, and you need to nurture yourself more because you haven't been nurturing yourself enough. You've probably been working yourself like a slave, overworking for some reason, trying to I feel like you've been trying to like if you're working and doing things, it's probably not even what you want to do, or it's probably more so for the personal gain of others, where it's like that's not the energy you should be in pile three. You are better than that. And you know it, but your self-worth is like you're questioning your self-worth right now. Let me see why that is. But because you could be like really, really beautiful and You don't believe it because something that happened to you. Someone made you feel like you weren't beautiful. It could be your mother. It could be your mother's side of the family. It could be like your baby father. It could be your baby mother. You could really have loved your baby mother, and then she did something shisty, and you like, I can't believe you did that. Okay. So the two cards I pulled out, the High Priestess in reverse. The High Priestess is all knowing, but in reverse, she is not listening to her intuition, and don't specify on, even though I'm specifying on genders, this can be, it's not gender specific, but for the card's sake, also for the sake that the intuition is ruled by our feminine nature, whether you're masculine or feminine, and also for the moon in Cancer is feminine nature. So whether you're masculine or feminine, I feel like you have been neglecting your intuition, and you've been trying to rationalize things that just because, for the sake of, like, for the simple fact that intuitive nudges are more metaphysical and yin, like they're not actual things that you can prove, but you can prove them if you believe in God energy, and you know that God is an energy that doesn't always show itself in the physical, but he gives us signs, you know, like God gives us signs. And I'm sorry to specify gender when speaking about the divine, but um God gives us signs that you may try to rationalize, but at the same time, I'm getting that you are very, very intuitive to the point where it probably scares you. Because when you see things happen, or like you could be thinking about somebody and then they message you and you're just like, oh. Like you could have been getting rapid fire synchronicities, like downloads and like telepathic communication, but like it's like, oh my God, like it's so overwhelming because you're just like, I cannot believe this just like happened. I'm getting that your thought process is good in there, but your emotional nature and how you receive these messages is blocked because you're not trusting enough of the energy. And with Venus in Pisces, it's gonna teach you how to balance and grow your intuition by how to trust yourself more. You have to forgive yourself for what it is that you did in the past that you are blaming yourself for, and that is going to help you open up to more healing and more receiving and more growth and ascension. Because right now, I'm sensing that it's like you're on the border of being in a shadow phase, on a depressive phase, if you are not, because you are allowing these self inflicted thoughts to self sabotage you. When this is a time with Venus and Pisces for you to think outside of the box and not think so linearly. And the more you rest, the more, like, even if you're not a person that dreams, I feel like when you get this rest and you just allow yourself to just let go, that you will wake up feeling more healed. And when you wake up feeling more healed, more and more answers will come to you. Now, I'm not going to be able to explain what that is right now because everything is going to be different for everybody. But at the same time, you know what it is I'm talking about. And also like your kids, like you could be learning stuff through your kids or your partner star chakra. Yeah, I feel like their children evolve. Hmm. This is my pile this is my magician pile. And it may have taken you a while. Like you could probably like Harry Potter or like these the cards, by the way, the Horcrux card. The bottom of the deck was Earth Angel. I got Magic, but in reverse. I got Evolve and Future, which is Scorpionic energy. Evolve backwards is Love. And then in Prince, Purple Rain also. And then the Star Chakra. So this is a very intuitive pile. Y'all are probably Scorpios, Cancers, um, Geminis, yeah, Cancer, and yeah, Scorpios, Aquarius, fixed sign. Doesn't have to be, but or Taurus or Scorpio. Yeah, so intimacy. I feel like you have a sacral chakra blockage, and there's a wound on your intimacy because you could have trusted someone who you loved and then they hurt you, and now your self-worth went down because of that. And with Venus and Pisces, you could be in a very jealous energy, and you need to get out of that energy in order to receive true love. But true love is within you, and you just lost it. Because I feel like you were always a very loving person, but you probably lost that. And it's time for you to get back to yourself and recognize that healing needs to be done now, because you are the catalyst for generational healing, which is why this thing happened to you, unfortunately. And I'm sorry, whatever happened to you that made you feel like this, but it's time for you to level up and heal. And you've probably been experiencing paranormal activity or things that you can't explain, and you probably don't share them with other people because you don't want to freak anyone out because it's simply freaking you out. But now you're starting to believe differently. Like you could have grew up learning a certain belief system, and now your beliefs are changing, and you could be even older and you're like, wow, like I really spent majority of my life believing this one thing, and that's okay. Like life is ever changing and everybody's life is different. Some people decide to come into healing and change at a younger age, and some people have to wait until they're a lot older to experience those changes, and magic horcrux. There's going to be a lot of magic around you at this time. There's going to be a lot of positivity. There's going to be a lot of things to be happy about. There are so many things to be grateful for. You are a direct descendant of God energy, and God wants you to know that He is working through you, and the pain that you have, He can heal. He can heal you. And also, you have to learn how to let those things go, because the more you hold on to harbor resentment, like that's why I feel like it's self-inflicted, because you keep trying to beat a dead horse. Like you keep wanting to bring something back that is no longer. And I'm sorry, but sometimes that's what happens. And that's the way that is how you will change into a new person, by accepting those things that hurt you and allowing it to be. And when you allow it to be, then your real life will just be completely different for you. And I know it can be hard to let things go like that, and you don't want them to be because you're so used to them, because the fourth house is about foundation, and something could have shaken up your foundation. Maybe it was necessarily a divorce. That's why I said this is my divine counterparts. But I think it will benefit you to write down your feelings, whatever they may be, and burn it, and then cast it out into the wind. So the cards that I pulled says protect your peace of mind. So you could probably benefit right now during Venus and Pisces from binaural beats and music. It also says it is what it is. So I want you to be more in the energy of just, it is what it is. Like things are out of your hands and you can't necessarily change that. It says stick to your guns, and it says love. So love will come to you, but you have to be able to love yourself again, and to be able to forgive, bring good everywhere. So if you've been really bitter lately, you said this song reminded me of you. So I feel like, I don't know, like something happened to you, Earth Angel. And you need to look at your chart. Look at your eighth house. Look at your fifth house. Look at your air. Look at your fixed houses to figure out. It will make sense to you once you look at them, because then you'll be able to understand that this was a part of your soul contracts, instead of just harboring resentment. And like, if I feel like some of you guys probably never even looked at your natal chart before, which you probably should. All you need is your birth time, your birth date and your birth location, and you can look on Google um, and figure out what your chart is. And I think during Venus and Pisces, it's going to take you on a journey to understand a new part of yourself that you didn't really recognize before, because you could have been just trying to make ends meet or just make sure your life is okay for yourself or your kids or your family. But now you could probably end up looking at your kids' birth charts and your spouses or your family members' birth charts, and you're going to learn a lot. And it's going to like take you into a rabbit hole. You're going to learn so much, and it's going to be almost overwhelming for you, because the more you learn, then the more you start to go into another aspect of yourself. And for whatever you do, this information will help you in your everyday life. I'm missing some cards, so let's pull some. I already pulled tarot. So one last message that I want to say. Let's see, rest and endings. Let's see. Let me just look at this for a second. This is a very, very intuitive pile. I'm getting there's a lot of feminine energies, but there's also just as many masculine energies. Like, I'm getting that the masculine energies here need to heal their feminine energy, meaning that you could have a problem expressing your emotions, or you could be very, very emotional, and it could block you in how you interact with other people. And then for the feminine energy, I'm also hearing that you need to heal the feminine side of yourself by not being so aggressive, not being so domineering, and just allowing things to be. Like, especially if you have kids, like, be easier on your kids. Like, you're gonna reap bad karma if you're being not mean to those kids, or if you work around kids, because the kids are a direct reflection of you, and what you teach them, they're gonna bring out into the world. And whatever they do at a young age that they were taught is going to be karma back for you, and you're going to continue to prolong your lesson and your destiny by being in that type of energy. So, alchemy and healing. So find magic within your life. Find magic in it. You probably, like, you can't be in like, I don't see magic around me. Then that's how you know that this pile is for you, and you need to find it. Even if that means just disassociating and watching your favorite show or playing video games, or just whatever you can do to try to be in another world to help yourself heal and rest your mind, because your mind has been going like this all nonstop, and it's probably been hard for you to sleep because your mind is thinking so much. And Venus and Pisces will help you to see a different side of everything that has happened from a more um, fantasy way of things. Even though things are in the realm and they can be so hard and harsh to us when they happen, you will learn how to see the beauty in these harsh things that have happened. So, pile 3, that is all I have for you today. And I thank you for watching this message. I would advise checking out other piles if you're guided to. And give me a thumbs up, please, and let me know what you liked and what you thought about the video. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy Venus and Pisces. Okay.